You're an international public speaker, a best-selling author, and a relationship coach. You're the developer of a wide array of relationship and communication tools for couples and individuals, including the Magic Relationships Method. Here's a tongue twister. The From Feeling Ignored to Being Adored system, the Argue Less, Love More workshops. And you've been doing that for over 20 years. Paul has helped couples who are stuck in a downward spiral turn their relationships around. His communication system makes sure that both people feel heard, understood, and valued. He studied extensively with the founder of Nonviolent Communication, is certified in Neuro-Associative Communication by Tony Robbins, and is a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and a certified Tantra educator. Tantra or Tantra? Is that potato patata? I'm Nelly Frittata. It's wonderful to have Paul here today. And Lake Harriet Spiritual Community, please help me welcome Paul Sterling.
Wow, after that introduction, I could just sit back down. Thank you. How many of you have ever noticed that the people you love the most are often the most difficult to talk to? Anybody? Some of you haven't noticed that, so you're going to be teaching next week. And then when, I'm kind of loud, Gary, is that's okay? Okay. All right. And then how many of you end up avoiding those difficult conversations with the people you love because you don't want to have the upsets? Yeah. So I'm going to be talking about that today. Welcome to from feeling hurt to being heard, how to have hard conversations and turn them into healing heart-to-heart conversation. Whew, I got that one done. And I'm going to be looking at my own notes. I was up to 1 o'clock last night, even though I've been doing this for over 25 years. Bobby, my beloved, helped me look at it differently. So I'm going to be checking my own notes so that I can deliver the most today. One of the things I want to do is acknowledge you for being here, for being the kind of people that come probably on a weekly basis to learn, grow, and I want to acknowledge Gary in the center, the Lake Harriet Spiritual Community for its inclusion, diversity, humanity, its ongoing commitment to being a stand for differences coming together. So, got it. Wow, I'm doing good. I can go home now. Can I tell you why this subject about communication is so important to me? Sure. Okay, so I started out as a child. And I actually started out as a lonely child, even though I was in a family with 2 brothers and a house full of people. The house wasn't always that safe. You know, my dad's had several expressions that I'm going to get into that in a minute. I'm not going to tell you about that yet. I was pretty lonely, and for me, wildlife was my sanctuary, and fishing. So I was always off fishing by myself, and we had pet raccoons, possums, woodchucks, flying squirrels, snakes, turtles, lizards, because I could connect with animals. And I realized at some level, I've noticed recently with some help from Bobby that I am somewhat on the spectrum. I am in the world of neurodiversity. And she's in the world of neurodiversity. She's more of ADHD and I'm more autistic. So we've learned how to deal with diversity. And that's what relationships are, is dealing with diversity in a way that brings you together. But growing up, I watched a lot of painful communication happen in my family, and I said there has to be a better way. But the problem was, I didn't learn it right away. I got when I got married, I got divorced after 18 years because I inherited my dad's patterns. And those were painful patterns. Irish alcoholic, recovering Catholic, part hippie, part charismatic. You know, he could be a wonderful guy and a total asshole. And it was painful growing up like that. So I'm going to give you everything I can in the 40 minutes that I have here. And if some of you want more information at the end of it, I'm going to tell you how to get a free copy of my best-selling book. And this book took me 6 months to write and 6 years to publish. When you're dyslexic, the editing is the hard part. So for me to actually have a book that I can hold in my hand and go, I wrote that, it's a friggin' miracle. And then I have, you can get access to some of my videos. One of my videos has been seen 6.9 million times. Thank you. Yeah, that boggles my mind too. It's like, that's more people than there are in the whole country of Denmark. So, it's on Tantra, Tantra Exploring Sacred Sexuality. And that will be a different topic for a different talk here. But the Tantra and sacred sexuality is just another form of what? Communication. We're communicating with our bodies, with our voices, with our tone. And most of us, or I'll just speak for me, I was never taught it growing up about that. So the core message today, because we're learning how to have hard conversations and turn them into heart-to-heart conversations, the core message today is when I speak heart-to-heart, magic happens in my relationships. So what I'd like to do is have you put your hand on your heart and then say this with me. When I speak heart-to-heart, magic happens in my relationships. Now look at somebody next to you and say, when you speak heart-to-heart, magic happens in your relationships. And one last one, when we speak heart-to-heart, magic happens in our relationships. And I was just thinking about what it would be like if our politicians spoke heart-to-heart, how different the world would be today. So my commitments, one couple at a time, one relationship at a time. I know my main focus is working with couples, but I also work with families and with, parents and children, or children and parents, depending upon how it goes. So what I want you to do is to get the most out of today, think about a relationship you'd like to make it different. Improve it somehow, change it. Maybe it's somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Think about that person and use that today as we go through this. And what would it be like a year from now if you could connect more? If you could communicate and feel the magic triangle here. So can anybody read that? So what are the three things we want anytime we communicate? We want to be heard. What else? And then the third thing is valued. So if you don't feel heard, can you feel understood? And if you don't feel heard and understood, do you feel valued? And a lot of times, my mom was just here, and she's 94, and she said, our father, there was 3 brothers, we'll get into more on that, but our father used to cut us off when we started asking for things because he said, I'm going to say no anyway, so why bother listening? So did we feel valued? Did we feel understood? Would we feel heard? So I'm going to ask you one other question and move on with this, but which of these is the most difficult to do? When you're listening to someone, is it hardest to hear them, understand them, or to value them? So value. Why understand? Why is it that understanding's hard?
We all have different experiences, and that's what shapes how we do the world.
Yeah, and I'm going to say one of the things about understanding is we're afraid if we understand somebody that they're going to think that we agree. Understanding doesn't equal agreement. But it does allow us to feel heard and empty our cup. And if we want to be heard, and I'm diving into it a little bit more, but, well, if this is full, how much more can I put in it? What if I yell at it? What if I withhold love, affection, and attention? How much more can I get in there? So if I want to get something in there, what do I have to do? Empty it out. When we want to be heard and our partner is full, what do we need to do? Empty them first. Empathy is empty me. Get that? Boom, boom. All right. So what would you like different in that relationship? Maybe you could call out a couple of things. What would you like different with that person that you care about? Anybody?
More ease.
Huh?
More ease.
More ease. What else?
More breath.
Huh?
More breath.
More breath? What would that look like? What do you mean?
Like, if they say something that is emotional or triggering, like take a breath and be able to let it settle in your spirit.
Yeah.
That you're more receptive.
So more breath, and I'm interpreting that as less triggerable. And that's something I'm still working on. My girlfriend will tell you, I still am a work in, or something in work. What's that? Work in progress. Thank you. Boom, boom. Told you it would be interactive. So, it's interesting. I'm going to read, this is my own history, but this is an aspect of my history. How many of you have heard of the 5 love languages? All right, most of you have. And if you haven't, please study them. They're really helpful. Growing up, my family's love language or language was sarcasm, criticism, make wrongs, put downs. And if you were open and vulnerable, that was what? Used against you. So it wasn't a safe space for someone like me who feels deeply. And I'm going to say things about my dad, so trigger warning. But underneath it, I know that he was a hurt kid. I know what his dad was like. So a lot of times we just keep, if we don't repair the patterns, we pass the patterns on to our kids. And so I've been working at letting go of some of the patterns that I learned growing up. And in the family, my dad had 2 great expressions. Probably you've heard this one. Do you want something to cry about? I'll give you something to cry about. Some of you were in the same family. We were there. I saw you. And the other one is the best defense is a strong offense. So you can imagine who my mother, who had a much more open heart than my dad, some of the behavior my dad used to do. He could be offensive. And he could, when he asked me that question, want something to cry about, I'm like, no thanks, my older brother took care of that. I'm fine for the day, full up. But it makes sense that we ended up in a culture of dysfunction in our family, and I perpetuated it, and I passed it on to my ex-marriage. And one of the other things that my dad was great at doing is withholding love and affection to punish my mother into better behavior. And I ended up doing the same thing in my marriage, that I thought power was withholding love, affection, and being the bigger asshole. So that's where I came from, and this has been a long journey from being a commercial fisherman in Alaska, which, by the way, Alaska is as far from Vermont as you can get. My dad and my older brother were in Vermont. I moved to Alaska. Fishing was the only thing I was better at than my older brother, so I became a commercial fisherman in Alaska for 18 years. So you might wonder how I went from there to here. I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But at one of the other turning points for me was my older brother, who I thought had it all together. Race car driver, always dating 2 or 3 beautiful women at once, charisma, and at 26, he killed himself. And it was devastating. And it was interesting because I always wanted to be like my older brother. And there was a time after that I wondered if he can't make it, like with everything that he has, what chance do I have? And suicide looked like an interesting option. And I've thought about that, and suicide, as far as I can tell from the studies I've done, it's not about people wanting to die, it's they want the pain to stop and they don't know how to do it. And it becomes too much. So if you want to be successful in life, you learn how to communicate with others, and if you want to be happy, you learn how to what? Communicate with yourself. He was great at communicating with others, and he sucked at communicating with himself. And I still miss him 40 years later. I wonder what he could have been. And I have a younger brother named Sean, and over 20 years ago, he took a workshop. Any of you familiar with Landmark Forum at all? He went through the Landmark Forum, and he called me up, and before I tell you that, when we get together for Christmases, because I was traveling around the world, I lived in Alaska for a while, and we'd all go back to Vermont for Christmas. My dad was there. And at one point, my mom begged us for a peace truce because it was so painful for her to watch her sons communicate with the sarcasm, criticism, and underneath it was the pain. There wasn't a lot of honest, vulnerable communication, and she asked for a truce. And so we started to do that. And then I got a call from my younger brother, and basically he said, I want to stop communicating the way we communicate. I want to do something different. And the whole phone call, and I literally, Bobby was there, I texted him yesterday. I said, remind me of the call, because it's 20-some years ago. It lasted maybe 5 minutes, but it was a choice. Do you want to get along together and make a commitment to teamwork? And I said, yes. And it's actually probably been more like 30 years. In those 30 years, we've never had a fight or an upset again. I go see him regularly. We've managed property together. We've managed money together. We're dealing with my aging mother together. So it's not like, it's easy to have a great relationship with someone who's distant and you don't have to make any decisions. But we had to make really important decisions, and financial decisions and relationship, family type decisions. And we get along really well. And Bobby's met him. There's a sense of harmony there. And the breakthrough is coming to that person that's a challenge and being vulnerable and enrolling them in a different type of relationship. And it can be with your kids, your parents, your spouse, people you care about. So the power shift was going from blame to teamwork. Because when something goes wrong, and I got to talk about it more, how do you turn problems into what? Another P word. What is it? What is it? Come on, say it there. What is it? Possibilities. How to turn problems into possibilities. And that's what makes a team work. Because the thing that's interesting is I grow older, the thing I've realized about relationships is every relationship for the length of the relationship is going to be facing problems. The problems change. In the beginning, it's finances, where we're going to rent, where we're going to live, then got children, then getting kids to college, then health issues and diversity and retirement. And what's constant is we're always dealing with problems. That makes sense? And if you can turn those problems into possibilities, it will transform the way you deal with relationships. So think of that relationship. What would you like to enroll them in? What is it that you could make that phone call, like my brother made the phone call to me? I did not lead that. I said yes. It took 5 minutes. What would you want to tell this person? What would you want to engage them in? How would you want your relationship to be different? And it could be the person you're sitting next to. It could be somebody that you haven't talked to in years. Who'd like to share what they'd like to change? Anybody?
Come on now. We're going to wait for audio so we can capture it on YouTube.
I was just thinking about the metaphor of dancing, and when you dance with another person, what that's like. Like one person leads, the other person follows. Like there's an exchange of energy. There's like a desire to listen. So
Thank you.
That's nice.
Let's give her a round of applause. Anyone else? Well, actually, I want to say one thing about that. We're often taught it takes how many people to create a change in a relationship? Most people say it's 2, but if you look at the metaphor of dancing, if one person changes and you're dancing cheek to cheek, it changes the dance. I'll no longer engage in the sarcasm and the criticism. I might, if you are that way with me, I might say, that really hurt. So it's not like I'm ignoring my feelings. I'm actually more vulnerable with my feelings. Me being sarcastic, critical, angry, that's me defending my vulnerability rather than being vulnerable. And it's very, very tempting because that's my programming growing up, is how to be defensive. Anyone else want to share with over here? All the way on the other side. This will keep you in shape. It's a new exercise program. That's why it's so trim.
And speaking of dancing, don't forget once in a while downstairs. No, not anymore.
I was going to say, I think when I think about relationships and the relationship that I would like to sort of work on, I think about the rather than reaction, having reflection and response. Reflection, then response, rather than reaction. And I think I work with kids, so I try to take a few deep breaths, before I respond to certain behaviors or whatever. But I think as adults, sometimes we tend to be defensive, to your point, and so being reflective and taking a breath before we respond will help with that reaction. So,
Thank you. Can we give her a round of applause?
And I think we all find that hard to do, don't we? In the moment, to not be these things that are not a positive help for that.
And let's give our mic runner a round of applause.
I just wanted to say, I just saw this morning a new study about not only taking a breath, but telling yourself, I am now allowing myself to take a deep breath. That by saying the words and doing it, that it's instructing your brain to move from the reptile brain to the higher brain. So just a little fact.
Awesome. Let's give her a round of applause. And it's like, so I wanted to comment on both of those. Remember I said, if you want to be successful, you learn how to communicate with other people. If you want to be happy, you learn how to communicate with yourself. And what Bobby was just saying is that's communicating with ourselves strongly. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to relax. And the thing about, it's almost an oversimplification, but we have two choices: respond or react. And when we react, we have two choices: dominate or what? Be dominated. You look at what's happening on the world right now, and there's an immense amount of reactive communication going on where people are either dominated or being dominated. And you look at, like, when I grew up in politics, there was a thing called across the aisle, where it was like, what's best for everybody? Can we work at each other, even if we have different backgrounds? So we want to get back to that reflective or responsive way of being, rather than in the world of dominate or be dominated. Being on the same team.
Well, as you get on here talking about breath, I find myself often, Paul, before a task, taking and sometimes accused of being negative or whatever, but I think it's my mind and myself just kind of stopping, calming, and then emptying that garbage that spilled on the floor. Or these other tasks or these other things that may seem daunting.
Yeah, thank you. How many of you speak another language? Any of you? Okay, what do you speak?
French and Spanish.
Poquito español despacio, por favor, parlez-vous français. Yeah, that's the full extent of those languages that I have there. Thank you. What do you speak?
Russian, Portuguese, Spanish, French,
See, if I spoke 4 languages like that, there'd be a tattoo right here. Oh, okay. Anybody else? Bonjour. Parlez-vous français? So I'm going to tell you, you all speak 3 languages. There is the language of the what? What's that language? Tends to be more masculine. Facts, figures, intellectual, who did what, when. So what would the other languages be? The language of the heart, what would that be? Feelings, needs, requests, tends to be more emotional. Which one's better for creating connection in relationships? Oh, the language of the head, of course. No, the language of the head will talk you out of relationships. So the language of the heart, so what's the third H? The language of what? Hurt, and the hurt we get in our reptile brain, our reactive brain, and our reactive brain is binary. What is it? I can't hear you. What is it? Binary. What does binary mean?
2 sides.
2 sides, either or. Huh?
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. If you're not my ally, you are my what? That's a lot of room for diversity right there. If you're not like me, you're the enemy. So learning how to, when we're in our hurt, the other thing is, if you're not safe, you're dangerous. And if you don't agree with me, you're my enemy and you're dangerous. So this is where learning how to move, when you're here, no good conversation, this, by the way, is your reptile brain, it's a part of your brain. No good conversations ever come from a reptile brain. This is where you've got to take that breath, slow down, do what you were saying there, and move from your hurt back into your heart. Now, there's a way to be in your hurt that doesn't attack your partner. I'm scared. Will you hold me? I'm hurting. I'm upset. I'm triggered. So making your partner your ally, even if you are hurting, that's growth there. So does that make sense? And we'll often ask, and like I'll ask myself, am I communicating from my head, my heart, or my hurt right now? Oh yeah, I'm reactive. And the thing is, when you're here, and I've been teaching couples and working with people for over 25 years, when I'm here, I don't have access to all those cool tools that I teach and have learned. They're gone. I need to be here or here. Does that make sense? So this is a participatory exercise. Everybody put your hands together like this. When I say go, what I want you to do is press really hard with your left hand. Ready, get set, go, go, go. Okay, stop. Look around you. Where are your hands? Look around. Look. Ah. All right. Can I ask you, why are your hands right in front of you? Well, what were the instructions? Do you remember? Push really hard with your, what did your right hand do? Why? See, any time, and thank you, let's give him a round of applause. And almost all of you, there was one person that went partly over. Have you either heard that exercise before or you actually listened to it? The thing is, anytime that we perceive force, what do? Push back, resist. So the key to great communication is to not use force. And you look at what we're doing in the world, we're using force, and if force doesn't work, what do? More force. And if more force doesn't work, what do? More force. Now, how would it be in your relationship if when you felt force, you knew how to go with it? To use something called, a way of thinking of nonviolent communication. One of my mentors, a guy named Marshall Rosenberg. How many are familiar with NVC? Okay, I got to study with Marshall. I literally, my best-selling book, which, by the way, there's a barcode before you leave, if you want a free PDF copy mailed to you, that's how you can get it. Send me an email and I will send it to you. But anyway, how do you meet force with compassion and understanding? Did you want to say anything on this? No. Okay. So what we're trying to do is turn conflict into connection. Turn reacting into responding. Taking that breath. And I'm going to give you another tip, how to turn complaining. So there's two sides. There's the side of the hand that's pushing. So how can you communicate what you want in a way that doesn't feel like force? Because when you complain, what does it feel like? Force. When you make demands, it feels like force. And even if they do it when you're demanding, they do it with resistance, resentment, and then there's regret.
What do you do with somebody who won't talk to you at all? I have a sister who refuses to talk to me because 6 years ago I forgot to contribute money to my mother's burial. She says that's the reason she will never talk to me again.
Well, if I was giving you $100 bills, when would you want me to stop? Why? Well, see, if you think about it, if your communication feels like $100 bills, if you're getting what you want from your communication with somebody, you want more of it. When you're not getting what you want and you don't think that you're going to be what? Heard, understood, and valued, you're going to resist it. So how do you turn that conflict between you and your sister into connection? You enter her world and feed it back. So I'll never say, I understand you. What do you say instead? Well, huh?
I see your position.
No, because see, I can say that. That's still my reality. If you go to a used car salesman and they say, trust me, what's your first response? I don't think so. But if you go to used car salesman and says, you probably don't trust used car salesmen. You're probably here with pessimistic optimism that you're going to find a good deal. And you're probably pretty shy of wanting to take care of yourself and make sure you're not buying a lemon. What has he just done or she's just done? She's entered your world, said what you're thinking, and you don't even have to say it. So if you enter her world, you probably feel disappointed that you weren't able to take care of yourself, that I didn't contribute the money, and then you had to come after me or whatever to get the money, and it wasn't enjoyable for you. Or for a lot of people, they're afraid of asking for the money, especially women are taught to be nicer and all the rest of that, and so don't be a whatever it is. So she didn't ask you, but she felt the resentment and resistance. So if you can acknowledge that, you've opened the door. But if you look at it, a lot of, especially men, but sometimes women too, we're like, just get over it, just forget it, just move on. And that doesn't work. It's better to resolve things. So does that...
I was going to say, you also always say, after you kind of like made a guess, like I'm guessing that you feel blah, blah, blah. Did I get that right? Did I miss anything?
Can you...
I just said the other thing that you say is after you're offering some kind of empathy so that they'll feel more understood, that you are actually saying, I'm guessing that you feel blah, 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 blah. Did I get that right? Did I miss anything?
Right. Thank you. And then to add to that, after you do that, you go, tell me more. Now, how many people have ever heard, tell me more? Ooh, a few of you. How many of you want to hear that from your partner? Tell me more rather than tell me less. Uh-oh, busted. Here I am. Thank you. So let me just look at my notes here. One of the things that we want when we're expressing our pain is we want somebody to validate E&E, our emotions and our experience. And that goes a long way to healing any relationship. So that goes a long way to healing that relationship if you can validate your sister's emotions and experience. And you can be the one that says, I miss you, I'd like our relationship to be different. I mean, my relationship with my brother, not only did I sort of get my brother back, but I got someone who's a best friend. And when I went back, I think it was 2 years ago, I'm a mountain biker, he's a mountain biker. He got me a mountain bike for my birthday. A mountain bike. How many of you are mountain bikers? Or yeah, I mean, that's like an investment from my brother. I'm like, wow. But the biggest thing is our friendship. And Bobby's met him and his wife, an amazing person. So,
Can I say one other thing to the person? Just so you know, I'm also a couples therapist. The really cool thing about doing what Paul is saying is that you don't have to agree with her. You don't, and even if a partner approaches you with something that you know or you believe is factually not true, or they're not saying it in the right voice, if what you're wanting is connection, then that's your North Star. So you let go of everything else and you're going for this. You want them to feel heard, understood, and valued. So it takes a bit of letting go of your own ego. It takes a bit of courage. It takes curiosity. But it's like it doesn't matter what they said. If what you're wanting is connection, you want to listen and speak to them in a way that they feel understood, heard, and valued. Because we often get stuck on, but you said it in that kind of voice, or I did do the dishes. And all that is just a slippery slope.
Oh, our little puppy. Thank you. Let's give Bobby a round of applause. I've seen my purple light. I have 5 minutes left. I am going to do... Well, in my reality, it just came on. I'm going to tell you one last quick story about the power of this. I was working with a couple, and their 13-year-old daughter was having problems with the dad, and it was breaking the mom's heart. And this 13-year-old is from a mixed race parents. She doesn't know where she fit in her racial side. She was trying to figure out whether she was straight or gay. She was harming herself. She didn't fit in school. And when she started telling her dad that stuff, he tried to what? Fix it. What did she want? Empathy, understanding. She wanted to be heard, understood, and valued. So I asked him on a Zoom call with them, and I asked her what's going on, and she starts telling me about how she doesn't fit in and trying to find her place. And he starts offering her immediate advice, and I watch her shut down. And I ask her, I said, you know, if you're open and vulnerable with your dad, he will, and I ask her to fill in the blank, and he'll be kind, he'll understand me, he'll offer me some ideas. And I thought about it. I said, now tell me what you really think. If he's open and honest with you, if you're open and honest with him, he will use it against me, judge me, will tell me what I should and shouldn't do. And I watched her, I almost started crying. Because here it is, a 13-year-old girl trying to find her way in an interesting world right now, and she can't talk to her dad. And what did I ask her dad to do is just feed back what he heard. And so at the end of each conversation, asking her to feed back what she would ask her dad, can you tell me what you heard me say? And when he did, and he looked like he wanted to be anywhere else in the world. This guy is a smart guy, he's a doctor, but he said, I was never trained to be a dad like this. I was trained to have the answers. And she didn't want the answers. She wanted someone to be there. So if you have challenges, this is a chance to be there, and it transformed their relationship. And I have lots more stuff, but we really don't have lots more time. So what I'd love to hear as we wrap this up is, what did you get from today? What's one thing you got from today? And I'd like to hear from 3 people, and then we're going to do our close.
Say it loud, say it proud. Compassion and hearing and understanding is what I heard.
Who else? Maybe someone who hasn't shared yet. One of the shy people.
How about mirroring?
There we go. Well, give the mic.
Oh, boy.
In case you're really shy, we have a mic for you.
That's right. You might be super shy.
I was going to say, lead with your heart.
Thank you. Who else? Anyone else?
So for Father's Day, I'm meeting with my youngest for lunch, and I wouldn't say it's been rocky, but it hasn't been smooth. And so, this right here, I've been doing a lot better, but this gives me a roadmap of just listen, ask, feel, and reflect back to her how much she's valued.
Right. And tell me more.
Tell me more. I love that phrase.
And feed it back. Here's what I think I heard. Rather than I understand you, here's what I think I heard. Let them decide whether you understood them or not.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Let's give both them a round of applause. Do we have one last one? Then we're going to wrap this up. By the way, when you're leaving, if you want a free copy of the book, with number 1 in 5 different categories on Amazon, Argue Less, Love More. You can find out here, plus there's videos, plus there's a website. So that's it from me. Now I guess I hand it to you.
That's right, Lake Harriet. Give it up for Paul Sterling. Thank you. That was wonderful. You're right. We could continue talking about this stuff all day. It's a wonderful, wonderful topic, and I love that you're going to take that to your lunch, as I'm going to take that to communication with my daughter and my partner and these things. And we'll leave these out. I'm going to scan this. I'm going to go get a copy of that book myself. We'll leave it up here for you. And again, welcome to paradise. Anybody know what these are? I cannot open this with one hand. This is your bike map and your schedule of events. Concerts, free concerts all around the parks. We'll leave a couple of them up here, and you get them at the boathouse down here. Bike map, events. There's a concert at 2:30. There's another concert at 5:30. You can wander down, it's free. Again, we love our community here. And now this is the time when I would remind you for the offering that we are funded by your donations. It means a lot to us. In a moment, the ushers will come down, we'll pass a basket. We are high-tech here, because that's the way we roll. We've got a QR code for Venmo if you don't find cash in your wallet. It is our primary source of income, and it allows us to keep things rolling. Give what you can, and becoming a regular donor is also an option. Just have it on rinse and repeat. You can visit our website at lakeharrietspiritualcommunity.org and click the Donate Now button. And now we're going to have a little music and a little offering.
We're gonna walk together arm in arm with peace in our hearts. Gonna walk together arm in arm with peace in our hearts. Gonna walk together arm in arm so our sisters and brothers won't come to any harm. We know we got peace in our hearts. Gonna walk with every color and tribe with peace in our hearts. Gonna walk with every color and tribe with peace in our hearts. Gonna walk with every color and tribe, 'cause we're stronger together when we're on the same side. We know we got
Thank you, Gary. Now if you might raise your hands and repeat after me. God's perfect love, flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Blessed be. Aho. Thank you. And now, as we like to do at Lake Harriet Spiritual Community, let's make a small circle, maybe cut right across this aisle. Y'all can stay right there. And we'll join in hands and make a circle right around here. And Mr. Paul is going to say something inspirational for the day.
The quality of our life is the quality of our relationships. And if you change the way you communicate, you can change your relationship with anybody, including and especially yourself. Thank you. And thank you, Gary. Thank you. And thank you all for showing up today. Aho. Woo!